Are you looking to build your first home studio in 2024? I'm going to show you just how to do that. Stick around for the video. Do you want to build a home studio in 2024 but think you don't have it in your budget? Well, I'm going to show you that you can build a home studio in 2024 on a limited budget. Let's look at some of the things that you're going to need. The first thing that you're going to need is a computer. This is a very, very important piece of your music production. My suggestion here is to get a laptop if you can. And you're probably thinking to yourself, man, I can't afford a computer right now. Well, you might be already in for a surprise because you probably could use maybe a computer that you're already using right now. Maybe you're just using a computer to browse the web or to store pictures or videos on. Maybe that can be a computer that you can do double duty on. And so if you use a computer that you're already using right now, that could be the computer that you could be using for your music production. Now, if you don't have a computer that you can use for double duty, I am going to make a suggestion that you get a computer that has at least 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte hard drive. Next, you are going to need at least 8 gigabytes of RAM to about 16 gigabytes of RAM. What this is going to do is this is going to give you more than enough RAM to be able to do your music production effectively and efficiently. In addition to the computer that you're going to need, you're going to also need an audio interface. That is the way that you are going to be able to record any instruments, or if you sing in a microphone, you're going to be able to record using those instruments, and that's going to go into your audio interface and eventually into your computer and your music production software, your DAW. Now, I'm going to suggest that you get something with at least 4 inputs and 4 outputs. If you're just going to be doing music production by yourself, 2 inputs and 2 outputs will be fine, because more than likely you're going to be doing recordings that you're going to be doing by yourself. But if you decide that you may record with another individual or with another person that's using another instrument, then you may want to consider at least 4 inputs and 4 outputs. I'm going to put a link in the description for the various audio interfaces and their prices that you are going to need. Now, here, you're not going to spend that much money because there are a lot of options out there for reasonable prices. So you're not going to use a lot of money here. You're going to actually save some money with this piece of equipment. Next, we are going to talk about the type of instrument that you are going to use to record in your music production software through your audio interface. Now, this is a personal choice because you could be a musician that's just a singer, and maybe you're going to be using the microphone. Hey, maybe you're a guitar player, electric guitar player or acoustic guitar player, and maybe you're going to use a guitar. Maybe you're a bass player, and maybe you're going to be doing bass recordings, or maybe you're going to be doing overdubs where you're going to be using various instruments because you're by yourself. Maybe you play bass, maybe you play guitar, maybe you sing, and maybe you're just going to be doing a bunch of overdubs, and that's fine as well. So here, that's a personal choice. But most people at some point are going to be singing because, singing is a main part of a song that people are going to be doing, at least at some point in time. So here I'm going to suggest, a good microphone. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on this piece of equipment because there are great options out there as far as microphones that you can buy and get great results. Now, I am not going to list any microphones in this video because there are a lot of great options out there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link in the description on not only the microphones, but on all the pieces of gear that you're going to need to build your home studio in 2024. Finally, you are going to need a good pair of studio headphones to listen while you are doing your music production. This is another area where you're going to be able to save a lot of money. You do not need a very expensive pair of headphones. They can get very, very expensive. And there are a lot of brands out there that are good in quality, but not necessarily expensive in price. And so here's where you're going to save some money as well. There are a lot of good headphones out there that sounds good. The quality is great, and you'll save a lot of money. So don't let nobody tell you that you have to go out there and spend a lot of money to have good headphones, because that is definitely not true. And one more final piece of gear that is very optional. You don't necessarily need this right away. You can just use your headphones if you want to play back your music recordings or mixes, and that's studio monitors. There are a lot of great options for studio monitors as well. And when you're ready to spend some more money, then I would recommend getting you a nice pair of studio monitors. Today, you can get studio monitors and good studio monitors anywhere between $200 and $400. They even have some used ones on the used market that you can get for about $150 for a pair. And so don't spend a lot of money in this area just yet. As long as you get a nice pair of headphones that you can listen back while you're doing your music production, you don't necessarily have to go out here and spend money on studio monitors right now. Oh, and did I forget to mention, you are going to need a music production software? Yes, you are going to need a DAW, aka Digital Audio Workstation, to do your music production. Yes, we can't forget this, and this is the place or the area that you cannot be skimpy on. You have to make a very conscious decision on which DAW software that you are going to get. Now, there is a lot of different options out there. We're talking FL Studio, Logic Pro X, Ableton, Cubase, Reaper, Pro Tools. There's a sea of DAWs out there. Now, here I am going to make a suggestion only because I think it's the best bang for the buck, both short term and long term, and that is FL Studio. And the reason why I am mentioning FL Studio here is because they give you lifetime updates on all the VST plugins. That means that when there is an update on any plugin, you don't have to pay for that plugin. You get that automatically without any extra cost. And so that is a great value for the money. You don't have to worry about paying for any updates. You get the software lifetime and lifetime updates. And that is a great value. Now, that's for Windows or Mac. Now, if you're just using a Mac machine, then I would suggest Logic Pro X, because of the simple fact what they give you out of the box is wonderful. You get all kinds of loops, you get all kinds of beats, all kinds of instruments, all kinds of different things that can get you up and running to be able to be creative in doing your music. And so that's another good value for your money if you're using a Mac machine. And so that is probably the only suggestion that I'm going to give at this particular point, but you need your DAW software to do your music production. And so don't be skimpy on that. Make a conscious decision on what you're going to get, because in the long term, this is what you're going to be using to do all your music production, your recording and mixing, and maybe even your mastering. So definitely don't skimp on this. And so this is what you're going to need to do your music production. These are all the pieces that you are going to need to do your music production in 2024. So if you're looking to build a studio, a beginner home studio in 2024, these are the items that you're going to need.